Hey everybody, welcome back to CAF's Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Babbitt, co-founder of the Challenged Athletes Foundation. Every week, I get to chat to some of the greatest challenged athletes on the planet. This week, we get to chat to a gentleman who just made history. He is the first challenged athlete to become a professional triathlete. Mr. Chris Hammer, he also has the best name in the sport, joins us. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks, Bob.
So congratulations, man. That is so cool. First challenged athlete to become a professional triathlete. How does that feel?
It's cool. It wasn't something I set out to do, but I really just wanted to do a race post Tokyo Paralympic Games to kind of, I finished fourth and just off the podium there, and I knew I had more in my legs. So a half Ironman race sounded like a fun thing to do, and I didn't really have any expectations, and I guess the result was pretty good.
Well, yeah. So after the Paralympics, you go down to Ironman 70.3 Augusta,
Yeah.
and you're in 35, 39 age division, and you're not racing obviously as a pro. And this is coming off of Paralympics where you missed the bronze by 6 seconds, which is never fun. But you go 4:01:44 and finish 16th overall. And, I don't know if you realized it at the time, but when I first saw it, I'm like, wait a second, there's $30,000 prize purse here. And Chris beat some pros. He might be able to be a pro. That after finishing that race, did you even think about that?
No, the first thing that, and being, an endurance athlete, the first thing that came into my mind was, oh, the 4-hour barrier is probably a cool barrier to break. And I was thinking back about how I handled T1. I took my time, I didn't have my nutrition. My nutrition was on the ground. So I was just taking my time, loading up my jersey. And it's like, oh, I lost minutes probably that I could have snuck under 4. So that was the first thing that came to mind, was just, I wish I would have maybe raced a little bit harder and been a little smarter. And then, I don't think it was until I spoke with you that even became something I was aware of.
Yeah, and I don't think USA Triathlon really had any idea when I called them up and said, "Hey, is Chris a pro triathlete?" They're like, "Huh? We know he's an elite para athlete, but can he be a pro too?" It seemed like people were pretty confused.
Yeah, no, and then it was, I didn't even tell USA Triathlon I was racing. It's just like I said, something I needed to get the bad taste out of my mouth from Tokyo, and I just signed up, hopped in, and I don't train for that distance in the least bit, so I was kind of tired, but it went well.
So if you had medaled in Tokyo, would you have hung it up at that point, or you would stay involved?
I don't say I'd retire completely, just because I know I'm still, even though I'm 35, I've only been in the sport for about 8 years. So I'm still learning every day, and I'm still hopefully getting faster. I didn't start swimming until I was 27 years old. So I hope there's still more untapped potential, but I definitely wouldn't have been as hungry now as I would have been, I believe. So I definitely would not have raced Augusta if I would have Podium, because I imagine that would not have been, there would have been no bad taste in my mouth to try to wash clean, I guess.
So when we first chatted, the idea was that you want to go to Paris. Obviously, you want to get in the podium. And if you're going to be in a podium, you might as well not be looking up at anybody. You might as well go in and get a gold medal. So now with Paris only 3 years away, is the goal to mix in some 70.3s as well?
Yeah, I think ultimately that's where my, I guess my ability or skill set, it's in the longer distance. The Paralympic race distance is a sprint distance, which obviously can be a little misleading because you're still racing for close to an hour. So you can't, but I think and especially as I age, I'm going to be a stronger endurance athlete, and I'm going to lose some of the edge over the short distances. So assuming it works out with the plan and it works out with all parties involved, that's definitely something I want to do. Obviously the priority will be and will always be Paris at this point, but I think both can be done in a way that they help each other out, honestly.
So you're down in Arizona now, away from the family, training with Podium Project. And this is USA Triathlons. These are the high-end folks we're investing in to hopefully go to Paris and beyond, and LA. How has that training been? Because you've basically been thrown into the fire.
Yeah. So Project Podium is on the able-bodied side. Yeah, these are the hopefuls for the next Olympic Games and the LA in 2028, and they're going to keep refilling and keep, what is it in Australia beyond that. So yeah, these are the future Olympians for the US, and they're younger than me, they're faster than me. But like you said, I'm thrown to the fire, and they've been super welcoming. And it's changing things because, on my own, when I go out for a run, I keep it pretty comfortable at a comfortable pace. Now, this morning when I ran with them, it was off of a 2-hour bike ride, and then we're running 6:30 pace for the miles. And that's something I'm going to have to grow accustomed to once again. So I think it's going to pay dividends. I think it's going to pay major dividends in the long term, but in the short term, I just have to focus on surviving.
As somebody who, grew up missing a hand, did you ever, a lot of times when people are congenital, it's like, this is sort of who I was from the very beginning. It's not like I had some life-altering injury. Did you ever feel like, hey, I'm a challenged athlete? Or have you always felt like, hey, I'm just Chris?
I never felt that. And in fact, I never knew the Paralympics existed. It wasn't until I was in college, where I was a runner for collegiately, that I was first introduced or approached by someone involved in the Paralympics. And I blew it off completely. And it took some convincing by college teammates and coaches to even look into it further. And it wasn't until I was a triathlete in 2013 that I even heard of CAF. So I was, I just was raised, with the expectation that I could and would do anything that anyone else could do. And that holds true to this day.
And I'm sure your parents were that way as well. They're like, there's no excuses here. You're going to play baseball, you're going to play all the different sports, and you're the same as everyone else.
Oh yeah. I never used it as an excuse, because I'm sure that wasn't allowed to ever be an excuse. And yeah, I played all sports growing up. I played, ice hockey was my favorite sport, which I played all through high school, even at an organized level. So it just, we would adapt and we'd figure out how to, figure things out if we needed to. But yeah, anything anyone else could do, I was expected to do the same. And I still have that mindset.
And when you talk to your coach down there at Project Podium and said, hey, I'm thinking about adding some longer distance in, what was the response? And will you be able to do a couple 70.3s this year?
Yeah, I mean, the fact is my training volume is going to increase. This is the first time I'll still be working a part-time job at Arizona State, but this is the first time I've ever really been, I guess, a professional athlete, or this is the most professional approach I've ever been able to take to sports. So I mean, the training volume is going to go up, the intensity is going to increase with time. So if anything, I'm going to be better prepared for those longer distance racing than I have been in the past. And I think the goal is just to make it so that I do both and do both at a high level.
How have you had to adapt? Obviously you've been running forever, missing a hand, but cycling, swimming, how have you adapted to the fact that you're missing a hand?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously I biked for my whole life as well, or knew how to ride a bike, but I never knew how to ride a bike competitively until I started triathlon in 2013. And for the most part, especially on a tri bike, I guess you're anchoring more in with your elbows anyways. But yeah, there's certainly, when it comes to the maneuverability, that's something that you're not going to be as great at. And when I bike mountain passes, it's a little scarier when you're going down, only holding on with one hand. So it's just, I don't really know if there's a specific answer as to how I adapted. It's more just, I just adapted. I just figured it out. As far as swimming goes, we're going to work on some swim mechanics type stuff to do more of a loping stroke, so that it's just getting the left in and out as quick as possible, since I'm not getting a pull, but really make it a big like gallop type stroke with that right arm, and again get it left in and out. So we're going to tweak the stroke a little bit, so we maximize my strong side and minimize the left side.
What's fascinating is when you're going longer, you've got aero bars which are probably better for you. I bet you probably have more strength with aero bars.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful. And it's just the fact that the long course racing is not going to be as, the courses aren't going to be as technical. In Tokyo, we had a number of 180s, and in other courses, in Lausanne and the World Championships in Switzerland, Lausanne, in 2019, like there was a 90-degree turn coming right, like you come down the hill straight into a 90, and that's, that's pretty terrifying. But you don't want to give up time either. So you're not going to see something like that in the long course racing. So that's, from that standpoint, that'll certainly be easier.
Now, how has CAF, when you found out about CAF, how important have they been in this journey?
Well, I mean, triathlon's such an expensive sport. When I was a runner, it's, I need shoes and race shoes. So, but triathlon, it's like you can literally buy speed. And, USA Triathlon's been incredibly supportive, but there's just so much you need for it. So, CAF, I've been able to get so many grants for them, equipment grants. I've upgraded so many, like my race wheels, just so many parts of my triathlon, like my equipment and everything that goes into that, you probably literally could minutes like that I've gained because of CAF support. It's pretty phenomenal. That's just the sport, is you want the faster equipment, the fastest equipment that you can get on, and I can't afford that. And yeah, so CAF has made that a reality for me and put me in the best position possible to succeed.
Do you know what your schedule is going to be, or early season schedule for you?
Things are still coming out. It looks like we'll be in Sarasota racing in March for the Continental Para Triathlon Championships. If things come along well, I'd like to do my first 70.3 at Oceanside, which is in April.
Sweet. CAF is that's our big, we're the official charity there.
Yeah, and it's nice being in Arizona now that's a drive, not a
yes.
That's always a plus when you don't have to pack up a bike. So that
absolutely,
if my fitness comes along, that would be something I'd definitely like to target.
So this swimming and triathlon stuff is great, but still my favorite part of you, about the fact on you, is the fact that your name is on the Wall of Fame at a bar in Michigan for eating 12 chili dogs in one sitting. That's pretty damn impressive. I don't think I could get through 2.
Yeah, I'm probably more proud of that than I should be. I know, Project Podium here, they're doing everything they can to make their athletes as elite as they can be. So I know I've already had to be careful of making comments about, I'm going to get donuts after this long run or what have you. So, but yeah, I'm proud of that. And that will be something I'll always have, hopefully, is my name on the Wall of Fame.
I love it. Hey, Chris, always a pleasure. I'm just so excited about this journey. Hopefully we'll see you at Oceanside. If not, best of luck in March. Best of luck with Project Podium. So you're the only challenge athlete working with Project Podium, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's, besides me, it's the Olympic hopefuls.
That's pretty cool company to be in, my man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my goal is not to slow them down, which is going to motivate me every day just to keep up.
Chris, thanks so much for taking time and being with us on CAF's Heroes of Sport. You certainly qualify as a hero of sport.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks, Bob.
Again, Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Babbitt. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.